so when they open up, all that energy is released. Can you picture that? I'm trying to explain. Seriously, Reed?
Yeah,
okay.
It's kind of easy to understand. Yeah.
It's kind of easy to understand, right? But people get intimidated by the chemistry. But the idea of that little repulsion, that is what the life force has figured out, how to channel that into moving your muscles and making your brain work and making your heart work over the course of billions of years. But it doesn't want to be together. Oils contain lots of that energy, and so they break up really quickly. And that makes them very unstable. And when an oil becomes, when that bond reacts with oxygen, we say it's oxidized. And that's also known as rancidity. And this happens with liquid oils. And it happens just with the air, because they're so unstable. But certainly if it's heated, it makes it much worse. If it's processed in any way, that makes it much worse. And that's what Doc is talking about. And that's what all these nutritionists are talking about. That inherent instability of oils makes them very tricky to work with. I don't want to say dangerous, but the fact is you don't want to be ingesting a lot of oxidized product. You know what I mean? That's where aging comes from. And that's what Doc is talking about. However, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, and other people, everybody has their opinion here. It's not like it's out of a textbook somewhere. These are all opinions. I've been working with oils for many years, and I've seen what they do for people. I know what they do for me. They're incredible. I'm talking about ingesting nutritional oils, specifically flaxseed oil. Now, flaxseed oil is one of the most unstable oils, and I'm sure Doc would cringe to hear about flaxseed oil. But it's got so many good things in it, and it has, I've seen the results for myself. It's hard for me to just say no oils. As far as coconut oil goes, that one I'm not sure why that one is such a bad oil, to be perfectly honest.
So the coconut oil, you recommend like the waxy type of stuff that's really hard, not like the actual liquidy oil? Is that what you're talking about?
The liquidy oil is a fraction of coconut oil. You're talking about liquid coconut oil?
I'm just asking which one you recommend.
Well, there's only one coconut oil. Coconut oil is a saturated fat. It's got body to it, but it melts very readily because it's on the edge. What makes coconut oil so interesting is that it's on the edge. It has those MCTs. Remember, the MCTs are kind of sort of water soluble. The degree of fat solubility is going to have an impact. So olive oil is super duper fat soluble, but coconut oil is kind of on the edge, because it's got those MCTs. You know what I'm saying? It sort of has a watery nature to it. It's not quite as heavy as other oils, as other saturated oils, like lard, for example. In fact,
it does have the long chains.
It has a few long. It has the long chains. That's right. I like that you got some chemistry. You like your chemistry there. It's all about the molecule, you guys. I know probably people are rolling their eyes at this point, but so we don't want to get too chemistry on everybody. Read. So as far as osteoporosis, though, think fats. That's basically what you want to be thinking. And vitamin A.
What weight should I be at?
Resistance training. Definitely do resistance training, and you want to be working high intensity. You always want to be doing, you don't want to spend a lot of time in the gym. You want to be working somewhat high intensity, really intense. You don't need to spend a lot of time in the gym. But resistance training, and come home and do your protein, and do a little carbohydrate with your protein. Always want to mix a little carbohydrate with your protein if you're interested in muscle building and bodybuilding, because the carbohydrate will actually facilitate the entrance of nutrition into the cell. So you always want just a little bit. I like veggie carbohydrates. Some people will do grape juice. And then also creatine's also good when you come home from the gym. I eat
a lot of nutritional yeast. Is that good stuff?
Yeah, but it's along the same lines as the hemp seed. It's perfect. It's the ultimate food. Nutritional yeast is the ultimate food. You know why nutritional yeast is the ultimate food? Because you're eating a living cell. You're eating a living yeast. Now, true, it's a yeast cell, okay? But it's still a living cell. When you eat a living cell, you get everything you need for your cells. And because the body is made up of cells and stuff, it's the cells that's what you're looking at when you want to be healthy, not the stuff. You look at the cells. The cells make the stuff. When you eat a living cell, that's the ultimate food for your living cells, including eggs, although they're not living, but eggs because they're a cell, and then also yeast cells, also algae cells, and also oysters. That's another power food, by the way, oysters, because they're alive still. Is that good?
You're going to say something? Thank you very much, Ben.
Okay, good deal, Reed. I hope we helped you. All right. Did you guys hear about this thing from the Washington Post? This cracks me up. Obamacare's problems get worse. Many people signing up for 2016 health policies under Affordable Care Act under the Affordable Care Act face higher premiums, fewer doctors, skimpier coverage, which threatens the appeal of the program. No surprise. Did anybody think that the Affordable Health Care Act was for people, was for the citizens? Who thought that? You know, I did a talk once, and this gal raised, I said, does anybody benefit from this thing? And the gal raised her hand and says, yeah, she benefits. She saves all kinds of money on her prescription drugs, and she gets to go to the doctor whenever she wants. And that's really basically what Obamacare is about. It's about guaranteeing that you can go to the doctor whenever you want, and you get all the drugs you need. That's not even happening, but that's really supposedly what Obamacare is about. How does that help us with our health? Where does that have anything to do with health? This is the fundamental question that we need to ask ourselves. When did the medical model get synonymous with health? And why is it that the idea that when if we want to be healthy, we got to go? Where did this idea, if we want to be healthy, we got to go to the doctor? Where did this idea come from? That's really the fundamental question. But you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. What matters is that we have an ability to regenerate and renew our bodies on our own. It's part of the divine gift. It's part of the way the body is constructed. The body is a renewing system. Nobody has to deal with a degenerative disease if they don't want to, and it's not a doctor issue. Do we need doctors? Yes, we need doctors. Of course we do. We need surgeons. We need to have our bodies repaired sometimes. There's entropy. Our bodies break down. Things break down. We have to deal with gravity. Things fall on our heads. You need emergency care. Obviously you do. But the idea that we need to interface with the medical model for our day-to-day health issues, that is not in our interest, and the sooner we disabuse ourselves of that notion, the better off we're going to be. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You've been listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back at you tomorrow with more good health information. Check out my website, truthtreatments.com, and our retinol 5% gel. And if you want to join the Bright Side Ben team, please call the phone team, 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Have yourselves a spectacular, wonderful, awesome, beautiful day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.